This video is on the objective find the z-score given the confidence level. And this is number 2. So second video on a question related to this objective from your Newton Alta homework. Okay, so since I've already done one like this, I'm not going to draw lots of pictures or anything. You can go back and watch that first one, number 1. I'm just going to go through, use the formulas, and we'll find out real quick what z-score would be necessary in order to help us determine a margin of error. That would then help us determine a confidence interval to estimate mu, right, to estimate the population mean. So here, in a recent questionnaire about food, a random sample of 970 adults were asked about whether they prefer eating fruits or vegetables. And 458 reported that they prefer eating vegetables. So what value of z should be used to calculate a confidence interval with a 95%? Now, this would be a confidence interval for a proportion, but you'd still be using z-scores in the same exact way. All right, I'll get into all the formulas for margin of error and confidence intervals for a proportion in a later section. But just know right now that you'd be using the same z-scores for the margin of error in a confidence interval for a proportion as you do for a confidence interval for a mean when you know sigma. All right, when sigma is known, when the population standard deviation is known. All right, so this all depends on confidence level. All right, these z-scores, what z-scores would be found when calculating these confidence intervals. So the confidence level here is 95%. 95% confidence level. Okay. Now remember that if that's the confidence level, then the significance level, this value called alpha, is just what's left over. It's 100% minus the 95%. It's 5%, or as a decimal, 0.05. And then when calculating the margin of error, right, when calculating the margin of error for either an interval for a proportion or for a mean, you're going to be using a z-score with an area of half of alpha above it. So to create a 95% confidence interval for a proportion, using the information given, we're going to have to find a z-score with half of alpha above it. In this case, that would be a z-score. Half of 5% is 2.5%, so that's z with a subscript of 0.025. And then on my chart, that's given from a table, z 0.025 there is 1.960. 1.960. And I think this is exactly what was in the first video I did on this objective. But please know that it's not always going to be 1.960, right? There are other critical values of z's that may come up, and it all depends on what the confidence level is and the value of that alpha, and then alpha over 2. So yeah, the z-score that would be necessary to help me is 1.960, or just 1.96. I think that would be allowed as well. And they go through the same kind of description of what they did down here as I did. And I don't believe there's a second part to these problems, so great. That's it for that one. Pretty quick and easy. Hopefully this helps you again when you're going through these on your own. Thank you for watching.